Why do they call me the Chocobo Killer? Because I send a Chocobo to the family of the people that I kill.
My name's the Chocobo Killer and welcome to my channel. Today it's a day of firsts. It's the first video that we have on the channel and it's also my very first ever speedrun that I've done on any game at all. So we're playing through Satasha, which is the first dungeon in Final Fantasy XIV. For this run I'm doing it unsynchronized, so that means that we aren't kind of brought down to the level of the dungeon. We're as high a level as your character actually is. So that means that we can run through it a lot quicker than normal. The record for the unsynchronized Satasha speedrun is 2 minutes and 35 seconds for your reference. Now I'm definitely not looking to beat that at all. Like I said, it's my first ever speedrun, so just kind of being within a few minutes of it, I'll be happy with that. I'm playing through with my, and I'm going to call it by the name it should be, my Machinist character, even though it should be pronounced Machinist, but Machinist sounds like someone who works in a factory and like screws on like the nuts and bolts on the factory line, and it just doesn't sound right. So yeah, Machinist sounds way cooler, so we're going to be playing as the Machinist. Now there's two reasons why I decided to go with the Machinist. One, because he has the spread shot, which is the ability that you can see me using most of the way through the run. It's an AoE attack that attacks most of the, well, I say most, all of the enemies that are in a cone in front of you. So it kind of chunks down all the enemies really quickly, meaning that I don't have to take them out one by one. And secondly, because of the ability Peloton, which is an ability that increases your movement speed whilst out of combat. So that will speed up the run nicely whenever I'm out of combat. Also, I got lucky here at this switch. You have a choice of 3 which you need to pick, and I managed to pick the right one first time. If I picked the wrong one, I would have been poisoned and had to go and pick another one. So I'm glad I managed to get the correct one first time. You'll also notice that on the left-hand side I have the timings. Now I think later on a little bit I do miss doing it because I was doing it live rather than editing that timer in at the end. So there is a bit when I discover the pirate captain where I've actually not clicked it at the right time. So when we come back to this in a future video perhaps, you might see that time is different, but don't worry, it's just because I clicked the button at the wrong time rather than kind of cheating or anything like that. So we're about halfway through the dungeon now. We've sped through it pretty quickly, so far just over 2 minutes and 14 seconds. As you can see, the Discover the Captain one is still on the left hand side is timing up, but we have actually done that already. So yeah, in a minute I realised my mistake, and just now I think, yeah, there we go. It's not actually 2 minutes 27, I think it was like 2 minutes 14 I think when we actually completed it. So whilst we are running through this dungeon, I thought it would be a good chance to take the time to let you guys know what's to be expected from the channel. So mostly it's going to be Final Fantasy XIV related content, although I might kind of do some other Final Fantasy games, especially with Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out soon. Definitely look to do a few videos on that when it comes out. But I'm going to be doing things like more speedruns like this one, trying to beat the times that I can set. Doing maybe some guides in the dungeons, some of the harder ones perhaps, maybe even some of the easier ones as well for anyone who's new to the game. I also want to do some guides as well, some class guides, things like that. This game is such a huge game. There's so many things to learn in it, so I'd more than happily do some videos on that. So as you can see here on the left, we are well over the world record time. That went by probably about a minute, well over a minute ago now. But we are getting close to the end of the dungeon now. We are on the final kind of mission of the dungeon, which is to defeat Den the Orc-Toothed. So we just need to finally take out Captain Madison, although he doesn't actually die. He runs away every single time, just like a little girl. So yeah, finally we make him run away for the last time. And I managed to attract a whole horde of enemies here as they chase after me as I'm heading to the final boss zone. Now luckily I can ignore them all, because if you look at how much damage I take, I think I pretty much regen all the damage that they do almost instantly. This is another point where you have to kind of just spam the buttons to try and dodge or to skip the cutscene. And then finally it's time to go to the final boss fight. So to do it, what I did is stuck my dim, and yeah, just spammed him with all my abilities as quickly as I could, and I managed to complete it in 4 minutes and 40 seconds, which isn't bad, I don't think, for a first run. I managed to get the timing slightly wrong, so I don't know when the dungeon actually kind of classes it as ended. So yeah, officially I did it in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And looking on the website, that puts me in last place, but only by a couple of seconds, which actually I'm pretty happy with. And I know that there are definitely some places that I could improve upon in that run. So yeah, perhaps if we come back to this again at some point, I reckon I could definitely get higher up on the list. One thing I do need to do is level up my character as well, because he's only level 50. And looking at the other speedruns on there, they're all about level 60, level 70. So once I level up and I can one-shot some of the enemies as well, yeah, I definitely think I could improve on that. But thank you everyone for watching. That will be the end of my first video. If you liked it, remember to like and subscribe, and hopefully